Welcome to this live for transitioning humanitarians. And as usual, I'm talking about what are the best ways to transition, how you could do that easily, and any problems in how you could solve for them. So before I dive in, I just want to share some of the news of what's happening in my life. Is I'm going to Kiev on 18th. So if anyone tuning in from Kiev on this live streaming, I would love to meet you there again. I can't wait to see my beloved city in Ukraine. So I'm so excited about that. And the other excitement is that I'm finishing the lab for transitioning humanitarians. It's a group coaching program, and I'm about to launch it next week, actually. So super excited. I have almost all the things ready, and I can't wait to start working in groups with you on how to experiment on all of the things transitioning before you actually start doing changes. So, the topic that I want to talk to you today about is looking at the it's hard from a different angle. I know that Vicky and I covered this topic before, but I see this topic coming up a lot, and I see also that there's always this people want to make case for transitioning being hard. And I was thinking that we could make case for transitioning being hard if you decide to leave it, or we could also make a case for transitioning being hard if you decide to stay where you are. Right. So let's make a case for both of them. And then I really want to offer my perspective on where you could actually be making your case for and not in these two options. So I was thinking about what are the arguments that people usually come up with as to why leaving will be difficult, right? So these are the ones that you probably already know, but let's just go through them because I wrote them down so that we have a clarity on why it's hard. So we usually say things like it's unpredictable, we're scared about it, we may not be able to replicate our salary or even go for something bigger. We're afraid to lose what we've built, right? We don't want to go through another job application because we feel like it's going to be very hard. And the job market is competitive. I'm not sure that I will get a job at all. I'm not in an age to do this work, or even if I do go to another place, it's going to be the same. Adapting and settling to a new environment will be very hard. Not affording to have things the way that I'm so used to having now is not going to be possible. Not able to pay mortgages, and not being able to afford things for the family, right? So this, I think, is what we mean when we say it's hard to transition to go somewhere else um, that we want to, or pursue our dreams, or pursue what our heart's wanting. Because of these reasons, we won't be doing it. In other words, the conclusion of all of these is that it doesn't really depend on me if I transition to go somewhere else, so I may as well not do that. Now, let's make a case for if you decide to stay where you are, why it's hard, right? So the usual again arguments are something like it's predictable, meaning you know what the hardships are already, and it may get worse depending on how much you're processing your emotions about it. You keep feeling frustrated about things, you may not believe in what you're doing anymore, or in all of it. You keep blaming the system or colleagues or people around you. You keep depending on others for getting another assignment, getting another promotion, not being able to spend time with your loved ones as you wanted to, not doing the impact or the help in the way that you want to, suppressing whatever you're wanting uh, to transition to, keep suppressing that. And in the end, the conclusion is the same, which is it doesn't really depend on me, um, how I do things or how I'm creating an impact or what I'm doing currently. So, but at least I know what it is, so I will keep working where I am. So, as I always say, that my goal is never to advocate for you to leave the humanitarian work or not to leave the humanitarian work. In fact, for me, it really doesn't matter which way you choose. What I want to advocate for is pursuing whatever you want in the long run. And what I really wanted to show with this live session is that whenever we're arguing and making case for leaving is going to be hard or staying is going to be hard equally or more, then we're probably not really making a case for how powerful and how capable we are to solve for any of these issues if we think they are issues and problems. I think this is the part that makes my heart ache is when I hear people so fixated and focused on making pros and cons if they want to leave, right? If it's going to be this way, then it's going to be hard. It's going to be this way, it's going to be hard. And then just like putting ourselves lots of these obstacles. And then, of course, our brain is going to be like, well, you can't really do anything about it because it's too hard, right? And whenever our brains think it's too hard, we will obviously freeze and we don't really do much about it because we've already given up before we even tried. And this is the part that makes me very want to, say like, let's make the case for how you are capable of solving any of it under any circumstances. So if you decide to stay where you are and committed to being there where you are, let's get you to the position, to the emotional state, to the strength, to the powerfulness of your being to recognize that you can solve any of them and you never have to leave where you work. In fact, you actually can start working on how to strive even more and how to make your contribution bigger, better, and how to create your impact in the way that resonates more with you, right? So I really want you to spend that brain energy and time energy on not really coming up with lists of what are the ways it won't work. And I know that our brains naturally are so good at it, right? So it's not like even you're probably doing it consciously. It's just our brains offering it. This is how it is. If we go this way, it's not gonna work. If we go here or if we stay here, it's not gonna work. So we're doomed. So let's not do that. Instead, whenever these type of thoughts come up, let's make a case for how we're capable of solving any of these problems. So if you decide to leave the humanitarian field, excellent. You decide to commit to this, and you decide to commit to making it work, right? This is what I would love for you to spend your time on and your energy on, because then what will you discover is that there are so many ways that you could solve for any of these issues. And you can do that just by using all the tools that you have within already. So you don't even need to go and searching for something else outside of you. And this is the case I want to make for you, is that in order to transition successfully, whichever the way you want, right? Leave it or stay where you are. In order to successfully transition, all you need is recognizing that you are capable of solving any of this, and knowing that you can learn to trust yourself and trust your dreams and follow them no matter where they lead you to. and knowing that you have actually all the tools and skills to create even better circumstances than you have now, whatever it is. So imagine that if you had the choice of leaving the humanitarian world, for instance, if you wanted to, and you really believe that you could make a life your life even better than before. You could create even more opportunities. You could create even more impact. You could create um, more time with your family. If you could travel the world, or if you could earn whatever the money you want to. If you believe that truly to be true, would you be even spending time on these making cases? I'm assuming not. So notice that the only reason why you might be making cases for why it's hard one way or another is simply because you're afraid, and that's okay. You're afraid because you feel like you may not be able to make it work one way or another and will be left nowhere, right? But my advocacy of today is let's start advocating, let's start making case for how powerful you are, how much you can trust yourself, and how much you can actually solve for any of them and create better circumstance for you. And how are you going to do that? And when are you going to do that? Where do you start? These are the useful things I think you can spend your time on. So, my dears, if you are really getting to the point of keep thinking about it, keep not wanting things, and then like quitting it, and then back to thinking about it, and if you can't let go any of the thoughts about transitioning one way or another, stop your mind and focus on how you as a person, as the person who's now, how are you going to make it work in the best way to your advantage, whichever the way you want to go? How committed you are to make this happen? Because you have commitment, you have the motivation, you have all the skills. You can learn new skills if necessary as well. And you can actually start working one by one to getting to solve all of these issues. And then just say, I am just tired of going back and forth and ruminating and thinking of pros and cons. I'm just going to make a decision, right? This is how I did actually. I've been thinking about it for some time, and then after I think 2 years of back and forth, I decided, no, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm going to make my decision work, because my ultimate question was, do I picture myself doing this work in 10 years? And the answer was no. And then I said, okay, if the answer is no, then what else do I want to do? And how do I make that thing work? Right? What are the ways I will be making things work? And what are the things I need to be doing to make the things work? And that's what I've been doing since then. And I've been, paying mortgages and taking care of family and all of these things in between. All I'm saying is that as long as you have the willingness to make things work, you will make it work. As long as you know that you can actually create whatever results you want, you will make things work. Yes, there will be hardships and difficulties. I'm not denying that. But you will also know what to do in those situations, in those circumstances. If you can't really handle it on your own, you will ask for help. And you can always do that with the help of someone else. You can also do it on your own, whichever it is. I would love for you to spend time, your precious time that you already don't have. I would love that time to be spent on advocating for your best case scenario out of your self-concept of the person who can do this, who can make it work, rather than out of the self-concept of a person who keeps saying that, well, it's not going to work this way, that way anyway, so why bother? Because we are already so good at why bother approach. So let's explore the alternative, right? The alternative is, what if we are actually capable of always making a case for making our desires work, because desires are there for a reason and they wouldn't have appeared if we weren't capable of handling them, if we weren't capable of making them a reality. So if they are there, let's honor it. Let's work through whatever the fears and whatever the emotions coming up, and start advocating for how powerful human beings we are to make whatever the dream come true, whatever the wishes we want come true, whatever the plans we want come true, as long as we trust ourselves and those dreams, as long as we're committed to making it work, as long as we keep working towards them, rather than keep building case against those dreams or against them coming true. Okay, my dears, that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to say how grateful I am for all of you watching and accompanying us with Vicky, and also sharing your thoughts and feedback. Please continue doing that. And when Vicky comes back, we'll continue doing that even more. So I just want to say how much I love these sessions or live interactions. And I will see you next Thursday.